Hey everyone, it's Michael Brook from Rapid Couples Counselling. I just thought I'd record a very brief video on infidelity. Roughly 20% of people say they've committed infidelity in their lifetime, so that's roughly 1 in 5 people, so it's a relatively common thing. Now, for some people who find out their partner's been unfaithful, it's an immediate deal breaker and they want to end the relationship straight away. For other people, not so much. And so this video is for the people who want to work through and save the relationship in spite of the infidelity, right? So this is for you guys. So what I'm going to be talking about today is what the recipe for relationship success is, and then what infidelity does to the recipe for success. So there's actually very specific things that infidelity does that makes a relationship, turns a relationship on its head. Now, next thing is I'm going to be talking about is what both partners do in response to the infidelity. And the final thing is what the solution looks like, or what success looks like recovering a relationship after infidelity, right? It's actually kind of difficult. It's a difficult path to go down. It's confronting and it's challenging for both people. But the couples who I've worked with in terms of recovering their relationship after infidelity, where they've successfully negotiated that difficulty, those couples tend to say that they were happy it happened, which sounds like a little really quite weird, but I've had that response from quite a few couples. So let's briefly go back to what the formula for relationship success is, right? So formula for relationship success is both people need to look in future and see a life together they both want. They need to want the same thing, they need to want the same thing, and need to want the same how they're going to go and get that thing. Next thing is both people have to take responsibility for the role they bring to the relationship and to confront themselves, right? Next thing is both people need to desire each other physically and have a good sexual engagement. The next thing is the relationship needs to be forward-looking and not backwards-looking, okay? This is incredibly important in terms of infidelity. And next thing is reciprocity and fairness has to be a central part of the relationship. Fairness is incredibly important. Now, this is what success looks like. So backtracking, both people need to look in the future, both people have to take responsibility and confront themselves. They need to be based on physical desire, the relationship needs to be forward-looking, and fairness needs to be a central part of the relationship. Now, the problem with infidelity is it destroys or blows up a whole heap of those things. Firstly, after infidelity is uncovered, it takes away a vision of the future. So when you actually talk to people who've been on the receiving end of infidelity, as in their partner's cheated, they have very great difficulty imagining a future of the relationship. They can't see a future, and that is profoundly distressing for many people. Next thing, the relationship becomes backward looking and not forwards looking, because people end up talking about the infidelity and what happened around then, and the entire relationship and all of their discussions recursively become around what's gone on in the past. The next thing is the relationship gets driven by control and pain rather than desire. It's necessary for relationships to be driven by desire. But when infidelity is uncovered, then the relationship becomes about control and pain. You're with someone, you want to be with someone, but being with them hurts you or feels like it hurts you. So people try and control their person who's on the receiving end of the infidelity, tries to control what their partner's doing, so it controls the level of pain they're experiencing because they don't want to have it again. Now, next thing is the prisoner guard dynamic gets set up and then it's looped. Now, I'll talk a little bit more about that in a couple of minutes. And then you get negative trigger response loop gets set up. So a trigger response loop is where something happens and it will remind the person of the affair, and then they'll go back into the emotional states generated by the affair or by finding out about it, right? And also negative context anchor. So a context anchor is when two things occur simultaneously, you experience the same emotional state. So for example, if the affair happened in the city and someone travels to the city, the person who's on the receiving end of the infidelity, if they go into the city, they start thinking about, where did my partner have the affair? Did they have it in that hotel? They have it in that hotel. I see that hotel. And they go into these negative loops, right? And so that's not a good way of, and that's what just tends to happen, okay? Now, this is what both partners do after the infidelity is uncovered tends to be very stereotypical. The aggrieved partner, or the person who was cheated on, they tend to do a number of things. The first thing is they go detail hunting. They need to find out absolutely everything. They need to find out every detail, every piece of pain that they can find. They'll go looking for it. They'll look through all the text messages, they'll look through the emails, they'll look through the phones, literally go through everything. The problem with doing that is every single time they find something more, that's more pain. But they feel compelled to find out all the detail. Next thing is they tend to have a desire to punish their partner by bringing up the infidelity all the time. So there's a universal human thing that if you hurt me, I'm going to hurt you. And so they have a desire to punish their partner. Now, if the people stay together, they can do that for decades. Not joking, they can do it for decades. And that creates a relationship where both people are miserable. Next thing is they get triggered by all the details. All the little things that happened, they just this one set of sequence of pain after another. So the response to people who've been cheated on, they either become asexual, as in don't touch me, I don't want you to touch me, which decreases the desire for the relationship, or they become hypersexual in order to kind of remind their partner that they're still sexual and attractive and desirable. It tends to be quite flip. Sometimes they can go flip between those things, right? But often people will pick one and they'll stay with that. Next thing is once they begin focusing on the infidelity, the entire relationship becomes focused on that, and the prisoner-guard dynamic gets set up. Now, what the prisoner-guard dynamic is, the guard checks up on the prisoner all the time to make sure the prisoner's doing the right thing. And so what that means is they'll check up on their phone, they'll be texting them text messages, where are you, what are you doing, where are you, who are you with, and it's like they're a guard making sure the prisoner's doing the right thing all the time. Now, this once it's set up, tends to be looped. People can do that for decades. And the problem with that is most of the time, it kills desire. Because the person they're being checked up on all the time feels like they're being infantilized, or feels like they're being continually punished by the guard for that one mistake. And the guard often doesn't know how to stop. And so that prisoner-guard dynamic gets set up, and it can be loops. Like these days, people put trackers on their partner's mobile phones, like tracking apps, so they know where their partner is at all times, and they will check where their partner is at all times. Now, once again, the problem is that drives the relationship by control, not desire. Okay? Now, the person who is the cheater will do a number of stereotypical things as well. Often they'll get very defensive, they'll get very apologetic, right? They won't ask for their needs to be met in the relationship because they don't want their partner to be triggered by their needs being met. And so what that means is they feel like they have to take a whole heap of punishment in order to make up for the pain they cause their partner. But once again, the problem is that ends up being looped, right? Next thing is they'll shut down their partner to minimize their partner's reactivity. So spending time apart, going and doing things that they enjoy, going doing hobbies, going doing activities where their partner's not there, they will shut that stuff down in order to make sure their partner is happy. Now, the problem with that is also it kills desire for the relationship because they never get any time apart. So they have to spend time with their partner who is a source of pain for them, but they never get time to clear their head and spend their time by themselves, right? Now, they'll often give in to being controlled. They will buy into the prisoner-guard dynamic because they feel guilty about it. But, once again, that kills desire because most prisoners don't want to fuck their guards. When someone feels like they're being controlled all the time, that will kill their desire for the person who's controlling them, okay? And the other thing is they can get really reactive with their partner bringing up the past all the time. Now, if the person who was cheated on keeps on bringing up the affair all the time, over a period of time, the person who was the cheater can get very reactive to that because they know they've made a mistake. They're not going to do it again. And statistically, this is true. Statistically, 75% of people who cheat only do it once because the experience of doing that to someone they care about, and their own emotional states after that are so horrible and searing that they never do it again. But if their partner keeps on reminding about it all the time, they can get very, very reactive. And finally, they'll reduce their displays of sexual desire for their partner because they don't want to trigger a meltdown of their partner. But the problem with that is it also ends up reducing and killing the desire in the relationship and the sexual component of the relationship, which is a fundamentally important part of a monogamous long-term relationship. So this is what tends to happen. And so both people tend to do those stereotypical things. Now, not everyone does all of them. Some people might only do some, but that's what tends to happen. Now, I'm really, really interested in solutions. So here's what success looks like. Here's what recovery looks like after infidelity. And through a number of sessions, it normally takes a number of sessions to get couples working through this. So it's difficult, it's confronting, but this is what success looks like. Both partners are having such a great time in their relationship that neither of them want to bring up the infidelity. So you need to focus on being in the present moment. You need to focus on making sure you meet each other's needs and focus on getting back to having fun and enjoying your time together, right? Rather than focusing on the infidelity in the past. Next thing is couples begin looking towards the future. Getting back to what I said before, the infidelity tends to turn the relationship so it's always past orientated. This doesn't work. It doesn't work. You need to make sure the relationship begins looking to the future. And final thing is, both partners see the infidelity as a symptom of unresolved issues. And when you talk to enough people who have had the experience of infidelity, practically universally, there's something that's underlying in the relationship where there have been unresolved issues that people haven't talked about. There's normally a period of time before the infidelity where one or both people are miserable, and which causes people to seek out sexual intimacy and to feel desired. The final one is the ground rules of the relationship are renegotiated. So this is what recovery looks like. It's possible for you to get there. If you're experiencing infidelity, or you know someone that has and they're struggling with it, it's really helpful to A, point them toward this video, or B, get them to give me a call on 0432 681 321. That's 0432 681 321 in Australia. Or go to my website, rapidcouplescounselling.com.au, or send me an email to info@rapidcouplescounselling.com.au. If you want to book in a session, contact me via my website, via contact form. That's once again rapidcouplescounselling.com.au is the way of doing that. So I hope this helped. If you're going through infidelity, I recognise it's a very, very difficult experience. It's tremendously emotionally painful. So if you're going through that, please give me a call and I'll be happy to help assist you getting through this difficult time. Thanks very much. Bye.